Crystals of the Heart 2, The Queen's Vow. Prologue. The calm before the storm. Soft drums, sunrise over crystal rooftops, gulls echoing across marble courtyards. After the storm of rebellion, peace returned to Asuofia. The palace shone brighter than the morning star. Queen Amaka ruled with wisdom. Captain Cato guarded her with devotion. But peace, like glass, is fragile. And love, once tested by flame, must face fire again. Scene 1. Whispers in the court. The crystal hall glittered in golden light. Ministers bowed, silk and beads rippling like water. Yet beneath the elegance, unease stirred. Rumors had come from the north. Princess Zara of Endoro claimed royal blood and a right to Asofia's throne. As Amaka listened to the council's quarrels, she felt Cato's presence at her side. Steady, grounding. His armor gleamed black gold beneath his leopard fur cloak. "Your Majesty," said Chancellor Mbamalu, "the Northern Empire marches with banners of blood. They say the crystals belong to them by ancestral covenant, and you believe them?" Amaka's voice was calm steel. "I believe power seldom travels alone," the old man sighed. "They come with armies." Cato's hand tightened on his sword hilt. "Let them come. Asofia stands ready." But Amaka saw the worry in the eyes around her. Merchants feared for trade, nobles for their jeweled estates, and perhaps, deep inside, she feared for Cato, her heart's mirror. When the court dismissed, the two met in the quiet of the balcony. "They question you," Cato murmured. "They still see me as the guard who stole the queen's heart." "Then we'll show them that heart beats for the kingdom," she answered, placing her hand over his. Side by side as one vow. Scene 2. The Queen's Vow. That night the moon rose, full over the palace. Amaka stood before the ancestral mirror. The great obsidian disc said to hear truth. "Ancestors of Asuofia," she whispered, "I vow upon my crown. No enemy shall take this land while love still breathes within me." Her reflection shimmered, and faint blue light traced the crystal veins in the walls, a sign the ancestors had heard. Cato entered quietly. "You summoned them again," he said softly. "Does their power answer?" "Only when the vow is pure," she smiled. "Would you make one with me?" He knelt, placing his hand over hers on the mirror's cold surface. "Before gods and spirits I vow, wherever you stand, I stand. Whatever you guard, I guard." The mirror pulsed once, sending a wave of light through the chamber. For a heartbeat they saw not themselves, but a vision, Asofia burning, yet two figures standing unbroken in the flames. They looked at each other, breathless. "Then we are bound," Amaka whispered. "In heart and crystal," Cato said. Outside thunder rolled, distant but coming closer. Scene 3. Battle at dawn. Dawn painted the horizon crimson. From the palace towers horns blared. The northern banners, scarlet serpents, darkened the plains. Asofia's army assembled, ranks of warriors in beaded armor, shields sparkling with embedded gems. Cato rode at the head on a black steed, his fur cloak rippling like storm clouds. Amaka emerged clad in silver armor, woven with gold thread, a crown of light upon her braided hair. The soldiers bowed, awed by the queen who fought beside them. "Today we defend not wall," she called, "but the spirit of Asuofia itself." Her words thundered across the valley. The clash began. Drums, dust, steel against steel. Cato moved like a tempest, his sword singing arcs of light. Amaka fought near him, her spear flashing, her gown stained with earth and glory. At midday the field was chaos. Zara's army pressed hard, their sorcerers conjuring red flame that turned sand to glass. When one blast struck near the queen, Cato leapt, shielding her with his body. The shock hurled them both to the ground. "You could have died," she gasped. "Then I'd have kept my vow," he said, blood on his lip but eyes fierce with devotion. They rose together. Side by side they charged, queen and captain, light and shadow. Their unity turned the tide. Soldiers rallied, shouting, "For Amaka! For Cato!" By nightfall, the enemy retreated toward the northern cliffs. But Amaka knew it wasn't over. Zara herself had not yet appeared. Scene 4. The Sacred River. After the battle, Amaka felt the land itself trembling. The crystals that powered Asophia's defenses dimmed. Legends spoke of a sacred river beneath the mountains, the source of all light in the realm. Guided by elders, she journeyed there with Cato. They reached a cavern where waterfalls glowed turquoise, the air alive with ancestral whispers. Only the true heart of the queen can awaken the river, the elder said, but she must enter the water alone. Cato frowned. If she falls, then the kingdom falls with her, the elder replied. Amaka turned to Cato, touching his face. If I do not return, promise you'll keep fighting. Without you, he said, I would have nothing to fight for. She smiled. Then I will return. She stepped into the luminous water. It rose around her like liquid glass, cold then warm, whispering in voices older than stone. Images swirled, Asopia burning, her people crying out. Show me how to save them, she prayed. The river answered with light, flooding through her veins. Symbols flared on her armor, ancient sigils of renewal. Above, Cato watched as the entire cavern blazed with sapphire fire. When she emerged, her eyes glowed faintly, and the crystals on her armor hummed. The ancestors have given us their strength, she said. Now we end this. Scene 5. Return of the Warrior. When Amaka and Cato rode back from the sacred river, dawn burned violet over the plains. The army stirred, bruised but breathing hope. Word spread like wildfire. The queen had walked with the ancestors. Zara's forces had regrouped near the cliffs of ash, their camp glowing with crimson torches. The air stank of smoke and sorcery. Amaka raised her spear. Blue light coursed along its edge. This is where it ends. Cato looked toward the enemy banners, then to her. Together, as we vowed. He signaled the hornbearers. Drums rolled like thunder down the valley. As the armies clashed once more, Amaka's crystal power blazed through the mist. Every motion of her spear left ribbons of light that split the red fire in two. Cato met Zara's champions with unrelenting fury, his blade moving as if guided by her heartbeat. Through smoke and screams, they fought their way to the cliff's heart, where Zara herself awaited, tall, jeweled, her eyes pools of molten gold. You wear light like a crown, Zara hissed, but light blinds as well as it shines. Then may it blind your hatred, Amaka replied. The queen struck, lightning and flame twisting in a storm of color. Scene 6. Hearts of Fire. The duel raged across the cliff edge. Every blow from Zara's flaming staff met Amaka's crystal-bright shield, scattering shards of light into the wind. Cato fought nearby, cutting through the guards that rushed to protect their mistress. When Zara unleashed a storm of crimson fire, Amaka faltered for a heartbeat, until Cato hurled his shield into the flames, taking the brunt himself. The blast threw him to his knees. Cato! She cried. He rose slowly, armor smoking, eyes locked on hers. Finish it, before she burns all we love. Rage and love fused inside Amaka. She lifted her spear with both hands. The sigils from the sacred river ignited again, spreading down her arms. She spun the weapon once, twice, then drove it into the ground. A surge of sapphire light burst outward. The ground cracked. Crystals erupted in tall spires, encircling Zara like a cage of living glass. Zora screamed as her flames turned to harmless sparks, dissolving into the wind. Mercy, she gasped. Amaka stepped forward, voice steady. There is no mercy for those who burn innocence, only redemption if they choose it. She touched the tip of her spear to Zara's brow. The red in her eyes faded. She collapsed weeping, freed of the curse that had bound her. Silence fell. The armies, seeing their leader yield, dropped their weapons. Cato staggered toward Amali, half smiling through the smoke. You did it. We did, she said, catching him as he nearly fell. You once vowed to guard what I guard. Today you guarded my soul, he laughed weakly. Then the vow still holds. Their foreheads met, not in a lover's kiss, but in the solemn press of warriors who had shared life and death. The rebuilding. Weeks later, the palace of Asopia echoed with new life. Builders sang as they set gemstone bricks. Merchants returned to the markets. Children played among fountains, newly lit with crystal fire. In the grand courtyard, Amaka and Kato oversaw the reconstruction. He wore no helmet now, only a circlet of silver that matched the queen's. Their hands brushed often, small, unspoken sparks in the daylight. Strange, Kato said, watching the workers. How peace can sound louder than war. Because peace sings, Amaka answered, and it remembers who gave it voice. The council gathered to crown her once more, but she stopped them. Asophia's crown is not mine alone. It belongs to every soul who stood beside me, and to the captain who taught me that love is the sharpest armor. The crowd cheered as she placed half of the crystal diadem in Kato's hands. He bowed deeply, humbled. Then let our rule be shared, she said. Queen and guardian, 2 hearts, 1 vow. Scene 8. The Coronation of Light. At twilight, the bells of Asofia rang. Every tower shimmered with newly awakened crystals. As Amaka walked to the throne, dressed in a gown woven of riverlight threads, Kato walked beside her in ceremonial armor, lined with white fur. Their eyes met, not as ruler and guard, but as equals bound by love and destiny. Priests intoned blessings, the sky darkened, then suddenly blazed with auroras of blue and gold, a sign that the ancestors watched. By the vow of heart and crystal, the high priest proclaimed, Asofia rises anew. Amaka turned to Kato. This light will not fade while we remember what we fought for. Then we'll keep reminding the world, he replied. They clasped hands and raised them high. The crowd roared, drums rolled, and beams of light shot skyward, forming a vast crown of radiance over the entire city. Epilogue. The Garden of Crystals. Seasons later, a tranquil garden bloomed where once the battlefield had scarred the earth. Crystal blossoms opened with the sunrise, each petal humming softly. Amaka and Kato walked among them, dressed simply, their crowns left behind. Do you ever miss the sound of battle? She asked. Sometimes, he said, but then I hear this. He gestured to the children laughing nearby, to the water whispering through crystal roots. And I remember why we fought. She smiled, touching a flower that reflected both their faces. Love outlasts even the hardest crystal. And every vow, he added, is just the beginning of another. They stood in the golden light, the city of Asofia gleaming beyond, reborn, prosperous, eternal. For when the heart is true, even stone may bloom. Thank you for your audience. Do like and subscribe for more content, and we appreciate your commentary.